y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to do a look using mainly creams. I will use maybe a little bit of powder to set my eyes and my smile lines because that does crease really badly on me. But we'll just kind of see how it goes. I posted a look doing this over on my Instagram and a lot of people seem to like it. I got a lot of people in my DMs saying they wanted to see a video on that look. So I'm going to be doing that for y'all today. So yeah, let's just get started. Just grabbing my Pretty Fresh primer by ColourPop as per usual. I'm gonna put that on my face. And I like to apply a lot of this because, I mean, I know we are using creams, so it's going to be luminous regardless, but I feel like if you have a really hydrated base, it allows those creams to really blend in together better instead of just going on kind of dry. This gives them something to like melt into, something for you to like, you know, finesse them a little bit. Any spots that I feel are still slightly dry, I add more. I want it to be an even and smooth layer on top. I don't want it to be drier in some areas and not in others. Also per use, taking my Touch in Sol No Problem Primer. Y'all know my two favorite foundations right now, the ColourPop Pretty Fresh and the CYO Life Proof Foundation. These two are my holy grails, so I'm going to be combining these two today. Going in with CYO Life Proof, just a dollop. Going in with my ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer. I don't want this to be too light. We're not going to be going in with much eyeshadow to darken it up. So I am going to grab my Pretty Vulgar concealer. I don't know what this is called, but it's for my BoxyCharm video. And I know this is way too dark for me, but that ColourPop concealer is honestly a little bit too light. And this is like a serum gel formula, so it helps blend out my concealer really nicely, actually. I'm getting more use out of it than I thought I would. Blend out all those creases, make sure you got them intact. Now I am going to be going in with a little bit of powder just because on me there are certain areas that will not crease. Like they are bound to crease. I need to set them. Taking my Maybelline Fit Me powder, taking just a tiny bit, it really is like absorbed in that sponge, and pressing it under here. Now I'm going to be taking a tiny little setting brush and just focusing on my smile lines. So when I'm using mainly creams, I basically just put a light veil of powder over all of my little creases, you know, my under eyes, my forehead lines. And I'm not putting the powder where I'm going to be putting my creams anyways. So this really just ensures that you are not going to crease even though you're wearing lots of creams. Now that we have lightly powdered, it's time to move into your cream products. So the cream bronzer that I use is by Chanel. She's expensive, I know, she's about 50 bucks. But I really love this one. There are tons of affordable alternatives out there though, so explore your options, use whatever you have. But this is what I'm going to be using today. I don't know how to pronounce this. It looks like there's Soleil Tan de Chanel cream bronzer. So yeah, when I cream bronze, I just go in with my sponge and I kind of drag and pull that product on there. Then I tap the excess off onto my hand just so I don't have a big blotch of product on my face. And it's going to be subtle at first. You have to build it up. I start in the hollows of my cheeks where I would normally start with my bronzer. Thing with creams, you need to look at it from all angles and make sure that it's all blended out. Because when you're in person, people aren't looking at you at just one angle. You need to make sure it's blended out everywhere and it's seamless. Bronzing the nose with cream contour is the easiest thing in the world. I just dip my sponge in there. Really tap off the excess though, because you don't want your nose to be super brown. You just go all over it. And somehow it just blends itself out magically. There, my nose is bronze. I'll add a little bit more later as I build it up, but for now, that's good. So that's the thing with bronzer. You work in layers. You don't want to immediately go in with all the product right there. Like, put a little bit over here, put a little bit over here to your whole face, and then go back and add another layer. I don't know why, but that just seems to work better. Instead of just putting all of your bronzer on right here and then going over here and putting all of your bronzer on. This way you can really gauge how much bronzer you really need. Because it's hard to know how far you should go without seeing it all over your face. And once you have that little bit of bronzer everywhere, you can be like, okay, I want a little bit more. You add a little bit more, and then you can see what that looks like. And then you can go from there, if that makes sense. People always ask me, how does your makeup look so good? And they ask for tips. They're like, what am I doing wrong? And I tell them, you're probably not putting enough on. And I know that probably sounds bad, but when I put bronzer on, I take my time. It's not just I can't do it that fast. Like, work in layers, really build it up, put more on than you think you do. More, that sounds bad, but like if you're used to not wearing a lot of makeup and you're wondering why your makeup doesn't look like the girls on Instagram, if that's how you want to look, I'm choosing my words very carefully here. I don't want to offend anyone because I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying, for those that ask for my advice and they're asking how do I do my makeup and they want to look like the other Instagram makeup girls, you need to put more on. You need to work in layers. You need to build it up. For foundation, it's not necessarily that you need to buy a super full coverage foundation. I don't even do that. But, you know, buy a foundation that complements your skin texture. If you're dry, maybe get something that I have that has hyaluronic acid in it that will attract moisture to your skin. If you're oily, maybe go for a matte foundation so your natural oils can do that for you. And then, depending on how much coverage you need, like you may not need a full coverage foundation. For me, I don't need that. I need a light coverage foundation so you can still see some of my freckles, but a medium coverage foundation that I can just layer up here and maybe on acne if I have some. Put coverage in the areas I really need it. So just building up the bronzer, that's good for now. Once I put my blush and my highlight on, I'll be able to come back and add more, do whatever I need to. That's the beauty of creams. So I'm trying to get into the habit of doing my highlighter before my blush because I just think it looks so much more beautiful. So I am going to be using the blush and light sticks from ColourPop today. For highlight, the light sticks by ColourPop. This is in the shade Star Bright, and these are really nice. I recommend for creams that come in a stick to warm them up on your hand first, because when you first do it, they're a little dry. You just need to give them a little love. And then what I do, I just put it all over my hand. So this is what she looks like. And then you can use the same sponge that you did for your bronzer. Just make sure you wipe that bronzer off because you don't want to go in up here with your highlight and it be brown. So I'm going to take the side of my sponge and get some of this product off. And I do this instead of going straight onto my face because that can be a disaster. At least for me, it can be a disaster. This is like a foolproof way to do it. And this is going to take some building up, but you'll see it. For blush, we're going to use the Blush Sticks by ColourPop in the shade 25/8, and it's literally just the same process. You do have to be a little bit more careful because blush is not as forgiving when you blend it out, just because it can be so red. So same thing, blend it out on your hand, get a good amount of product on there, bounce it, and then I really make sure I get the excess off of this. And then you go in with this. I start on the apples of my cheeks when I do this, and I blend backwards. And I'm just kind of sticking in between the highlight and the bronzer, kind of dipping into both of those a little bit, so it really blends it all together. The thing is happening again where my blush collects right here. I'll fix that later with powder. And if you have trouble putting on blush, smile, like lift your cheeks up and really get in there and figure out the shapes of your face and what works for you. You know, makeup just takes practice. When I first started doing makeup, I was not good. When I first started my Hand Glam account, I was not good, okay? It takes practice. And then from here, now that we have the bronzer, the blush, and the highlight on, you just add what you think. If you want more bronzer, put more bronzer, which I think I do. I just want to darken it up like right in here. All my hairs are sticking to my face. When this happens, I just take a spoolie instead of putting my fingers in my face. What do y'all think? Am I good on highlight? Yeah, I think I'm okay. Okay, friends, so we can see it is, or maybe y'all can't see, but I can see. It's a little intense in some areas that I just want to soften up. And when that happens, I go in with my J.Cat Aquasurance powder foundation and go in small circles. Remember, just a light veil of powder. You still want the cream and the shine to be able to seep through. And if you do it like this, it should. I always put powder up in here. This whole little section, I just want it brighter. I don't want my blush there, and it always gets there. Yeah, my smile lines are already creasing, so I gotta do this. All right, now that we are looking like this, I'm going to do my brows and I'll be back. All right, so brows are on. I went ahead and applied more of the cream bronzer and blush and really built that up off camera. I didn't want to bore y'all with that, but that's what I did. And now it's time to move on to the eyes. So going back to your cream bronzer and grabbing your sponge on the tip, just get a little bit and put it into your crease. Can you see me? I'm left-handed, so that kind of blocks the view. And just blend it out into your lid. Like that. Just add some color, some warmth up there instead of actually using shadow. This is a lot faster. And as I'm doing that, I'm also blending out any creases I might have. All right, so easy peasy, got that done. Now this is my favorite Super Shock Shadow by ColourPop. It's in the shade Ritz, and I've talked about it many times on my Instagram before. It's just like this nude color that doesn't even show up really, but it's mainly just sparkle. And I'm just going to put that all over the lid. If you've never tried the ColourPop Super Shock Shadows, they're very creamy. That's why I thought they'd be good for this look. Ooh, and like they are just the easiest things to work with. I recommend getting the shimmers or the glitter finishes. I wouldn't get the matte finishes. Those I feel like aren't very easy to work with. But any of the shimmer shades with glitter or metallic, they're just so good. So I'm literally just putting this all over my lid. Bringing it all the way up, not caring about transition colors or outer corner colors or any of that. Just put it everywhere and it will give you that glossy look. I'm gonna go ahead and do it to this eye. By putting that bronzer there, it really just warms up the eye and gives it the effect of a transition color without there really being one. This one needs to be blended out more though. All right, and that is it for the eyes. That's literally all I did. Now on the bottom, I do like to put a little bit of shadow there just to complete the eye look. So I'm going to go into my ColourPop Going Coconuts palette and just gonna grab this shade super lightly on a small little brush and run it under there. And I'm using powder right here instead of cream because I've already set this with powder, and putting a cream on top would just mess it up. If you want, you can add a little bit of definition on this outer corner. I think I might try this. Okay, so you can hardly even tell. All right, and now I just need to put on mascara and some lipstick, and I'll be right back. I put my mascara on, but I wanted to show y'all me putting on my lip products, so that's what we're going to do. I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips. I think we're gonna go in with the BFF liner by ColourPop. Always keep a sharpener on deck. Now I'm just gonna put a gloss on top. This is the Butter Gloss by NYX in the shade Angel Food Cake. I spend a lot of time to make sure my lipstick is blended really nicely. I feel like that is one of the #1 biggest distractions in makeup. Like if your lipstick is messed up, like I just feel like people look straight to it. So I go in with my fingers all the time, almost every single time, just to really blend in, make sure there are no harsh edges. I don't like a super sharp lip. I like it to be very smooth. And I like my lip liner to blend in with my lipstick, so I don't want you to be able to see my liner. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so give me 1 second and I'll be back for my final words, I guess. All right, y'all, so this is the final look. I love doing this look so much. I use creams in pretty much my everyday routine. I use that cream bronzer all of the time. I just don't use the cream blush and the cream highlight all the time. So this was really fun for me to branch out and do something that's different for me too. Creams are so easy to use, y'all. You can use your fingers, you can manipulate them after you've put it down. Powders are the tricky part. If you can master powders, you can master creams. It's just different. You just gotta get used to it. But anyways, y'all, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me down below or on my HandGlam Instagram. But other than that, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Anyways, I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye.